Across the country, and certainly here in Los Angeles, our three focus areas are enforcement, education, and abatement. And really what we mean by those is enforcement is using law enforcement agencies to try to apprehend graffiti taggers and vandals, and when they are caught, to not just give them a slap on the wrist, but actually have them make restitution to the city or whoever the victim is. Enforcement is educating people, or education is educating people about the consequences of graffiti, the cost of graffiti, and then the final one is abatement, in which we're really talking about trying to remove graffiti as quickly as it goes up, just because graffiti tends to be one of those things that if you leave it up for any amount of time, it seems to attract more graffiti, and then there's the whole broken windows concept about it attracting other forms of negative elements in a community as well. Well, in LA, I mean, we do have a pretty large graffiti problem. Last year, we, as part of the city, spent almost $7 million removing graffiti. Removed over 30 million square feet of graffiti from over 600,000 locations. And these are times when budgets are tight, and certainly there'd be a lot better uses of $7 million. But as we talked about the abatement, you got to remove it quick as you can, or else you end up with a lot of other issues that'll cost even more than that. So we have problems. Some areas of Los Angeles have high gang activity, and they're doing the graffiti to mark their territory. And then we also have a lot of tagging crews that are just kind of roving around and trying to get their tags up in as many places: light poles, sidewalks, street signs, back of people's walls, whatever they can do. So in Los Angeles, we actually contract with 14 different non-profit community-based organizations, and those groups are out there really 7 days a week, removing graffiti, either that come into the city's request system or proactively just knowing the major corridors and the hot spots in the city and trying to remove the graffiti before people even know that that particular wall or sidewalk got tagged. Well, there's a couple of them. Obviously we talked about the abatement and the quick abatement. We also have a program where we plant vines on walls that are high-impact graffiti targets. And if we can get a neighborhood group or someone to sort of adopt that wall, the city will actually come out and plant the vines. And it takes maybe a couple of years, but those vines will grow up and cling to the wall. So you're, one, removing an element or a high visibility wall from being tagged on a regular basis, and you're then also adding some greenery to the city to kind of just help soften the cityscape. So that's an effective program. We also have a real good program that's gone into the elementary schools and talked to kids about why they shouldn't write on walls and the consequences of what can happen if they get caught doing graffiti. Unfortunately, because of the city's budget issues right now, that education program's been put on hold. But we found that investing a little bit of money into the front end about talking to kids, you actually can save a lot on the back end in the cost of court systems and abatement and all those sort of issues. So those are ones that we really have found very effective. In certain cases, painting a mural on a wall has also worked as far as keeping graffiti off the walls. The problem with murals is that sometimes if they are tagged, then the abatement of that graffiti on top of the mural can be rather difficult without destroying the mural. So that's the challenge with murals, but in a lot of cases they work as well. I think the best way to do that really is working through the local affiliates and the local anti-graffiti programs that are already established, and finding ways to enhance those programs, whether it's through grant opportunities, in-kind donations of products and things to support the local programs, and also developing a sort of nationwide anti-graffiti educational program that could then be utilized by the local anti-graffiti programs, and so that they're not all having to go about reinventing the wheel. So I think that would be great if we had something like that, and allow the local agencies to tap into those, and you then kind of get a cohesive anti-graffiti message that could be spread throughout the Keep America Beautiful affiliates.